Hey, all my amazing fans, and welcome back. So, let's talk about one of the most talked about political moments in California right now. And honestly, it's one of those stories that makes you stop and think about how a single interview can totally shift the momentum of a political campaign. Yep, we're talking about former Congresswoman Katie Porter, who's running for governor, and how a recent TV interview, plus an old video that resurfaced, went viral for all the wrong reasons. Now, imagine this. You're running for one of the most powerful jobs in the country, Governor of California, and all eyes are on you. You sit down for an interview, thinking it's your chance to connect with voters, show your leadership, maybe even score a few points. But then, it spirals into an uncomfortable, tense moment that ends up all over social media. That's exactly what happened to Katie Porter during a CBS Sacramento interview that aired earlier this week. So, during this interview, the reporter asked a pretty direct question, something like, "What do you say to the 40% of California voters who voted for Donald Trump?" Porter didn't love that. She pushed back, saying the question was unfair and that it made assumptions about voters. And as the reporter kept pressing with follow-ups, Porter started to lose patience. She said something along the lines of, "I don't want to keep doing this, I'm going to call it," and even began removing her mic. At that point, everyone could feel the tension. But here's where it gets even more complicated. She did end up finishing the interview, but by then, the damage was already done. Clips of the tense exchange spread like wildfire online, and everyone seemed to have an opinion. Some people said she was being unfairly targeted or that she stood her ground against biased questioning. Others argued that she came off as defensive, maybe even unprepared for tough media moments. And just when the situation couldn't get any more uncomfortable, an old video from 2021 suddenly reappeared, this time showing Porter during a virtual event with Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm. In the clip, a staffer accidentally steps into the camera frame and Porter snaps, saying, "Get out of my ing shot." That part had apparently been edited out of the original video, but now that it's out there, it's fueling a whole new round of criticism about her temperament. So, it's no surprise that her opponents pounced on this moment. Former Los Angeles Mayor Antonio Villaraigosa said it raised doubts about whether Porter can handle simple questions. Betty Yee, another Democratic contender, said she showed poor judgment. The timing couldn't be worse for Porter. Her campaign is trying to gain traction in a crowded Democratic field, and now the conversation has completely shifted away from her policies to her personality. But here's the real question. Should one bad interview or one angry moment define an entire campaign? Or is this a reminder of how unforgiving modern politics can be? Because let's face it, we live in an era where a 5-second clip can outweigh years of experience. Do you think that's fair? Or is it just the reality of campaigning in the age of social media? To be fair, Katie Porter isn't new to the spotlight. She built her national reputation on fiery congressional hearings, especially when she'd pull out that now-famous whiteboard to challenge big corporations and CEOs. That same fearless, confrontational style helped her stand out, but now, some wonder if it's becoming a liability instead of a strength. Is there a difference between being a fighter in Congress and being a calm, unifying leader as governor? That's the line Porter's walking right now. What's fascinating here is how much this says about political image. Politicians are constantly told to be authentic, but they're also told to stay composed no matter what happens. It's like walking a tightrope, one slip, and people start questioning your entire character. Porter's team might argue that she was being herself, blunt, passionate, unwilling to play along with questions she thought were unfair. But in politics, sometimes authentic doesn't mean electable. So now, Porter has a decision to make. Does she double down and defend her actions, or does she try to pivot and calm things down? She could release a statement clarifying what happened, or she might just move on and refocus her campaign on key issues like housing, education, and climate change, areas where she's always been strong. But one thing's certain, every move from now on will be watched closely. It's also worth asking what this means for voters. Do Californians want a governor who's fiery and direct, even if it means sometimes losing her cool? Or are they looking for someone more measured and steady, someone who projects calm under pressure? It's such an interesting contrast because California politics are huge on personality, and how a candidate feels to voters can make or break them. At the end of the day, this might just be a bump in the road for Porter, something that blows over in a week or two. Or it could end up being the moment that defines how people see her for the rest of the campaign. Either way, it's a powerful reminder of how unpredictable political life really is.
So, what do you think?
Was Katie Porter unfairly criticized for just standing up for herself? Or did she cross a line by losing her composure in front of millions? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know what side you're on with this one. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want to stay updated on more political stories like this, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next one.